everybody, and welcome back to my channel. And today I am going to be doing a requested video that's been requested more than a few occasions, and I'm going to be talking about ADHD and autism and the similarities and the differences between each condition. I am somebody who doesn't live with ADHD. I am autistic. I've been formally diagnosed with autism, so I'm going to be basing this video off my own autistic perspective. My videos are never ever meant to replace medical support or medical help. If you need medical support with requesting autism or an ADHD diagnosis, or you want to try and seek someone out to get support, please never use my videos in that majority. Please go and seek medical assistance. Please go to your doctor, your physician, or a mental health professional. Please never use my videos as a way to replace your mental health care. I am not trained in that aspect. So let's get into the video. According to the CDC, which is the Centre for Disease Control and Prevention, 14% of children with ADHD will also have a diagnosis of ASD. In a study from 2013, children with both conditions had more severe symptoms than children who did not exhibit any symptoms. Children with both conditions were likely to have learning difficulties and impaired social skills. For years, the American Psychiatric Association has said both that ADHD and autism couldn't be diagnosed at the same time, but since 2013 has changed its view, and since the release of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, the 5th edition, the DSM-5, it clearly states the two conditions are co-occurrent or comorbid. In 2014, a review of studies looking at the co-occurrence of ADHD and autism, researchers found that 30 to 50% of people with ASD had symptoms of ADHD. Researchers still do not understand why both conditions occur so frequently together and are so frequently diagnosed. So why do ADHD and autism coexist so often together? Both ASD and ADHD are neurodevelopmental conditions, which means the brain development has been affected in the same way, which means that the central nervous system, which is responsible for movement, language and focusing skills, it mostly affects the brain's executive functioning, which is responsible for decision making, impulse control, time management and organisational skills. Adults can have both ASD and ADHD, but the combination is not as common as it is found in children. So, what are the differences between ADHD and autism? ADHD people often act restless all the time, acting impulsive and have hard time paying attention. The symptoms of ASD are often avoiding eye contact, they do not engage with others, and have repetitive movements or stereotypes. So, what is ADHD in more detail? ADHD is one of the most common neurodevelopmental disorders within childhood and usually lasts late into adulthood. There are 3 different types of ADHD depending on the types of symptoms which the individual will present. So type 1 is predominantly inattentive presentation, which means it is hard for the individual to organise or finish a task, to pay attention to detail, or to follow conversation. The person usually becomes distracted or forgets their daily routine. Type 2, predominantly hyperactive impulse presentation. This person will talk or fidget a lot, finds it hard to sit still, e.g. eating a meal while doing their homework. The individual will feel restless and has little impulse control and has impulse control trouble. They may interrupt others in basic conversation or speak out in inappropriate times or tones. They may have more accidents and injuries than others of their age. Combined presentation, which means both symptoms have been present in early birth since the person has been here, and they both have symptoms of being restless, inappropriate tone, voice, whatnot. So, what is the diagnostic criteria for ADHD? Number 1, inattention, 6 or more symptoms of inattention for children and adults up to the age of 16 years. For 17 years or older, or over 18, inattention symptoms have to be present for at least 6 to 8 months and inappropriate for their developmental level. Number 2, hyperactivity and impulsivity. 6 or more symptoms of hyperactivity for children or adults, symptoms to last for a minimum of 6 to 8 months to such an extent that it is inappropriate for the person's developmental level or age. So, what is autism, I hear you ask? Autism spectrum disorder is a developmental disability that can cause significant social and communication and behavioural challenges. People with ASD may communicate, interact and behave and learn in ways that may be different from other people. The learning and thinking of people with ASD can range from gifted to challenging. Some people with ASD need a lot of help, others not so much. A diagnosis of ASD used to include several conditions, such as autistic disorder, pervasive developmental disorder, PDD-NOS as not otherwise specified, Asperger's syndrome. These conditions now all have been called the autism spectrum condition or autism spectrum disorder. So, what are the signs and symptoms of ASD? People with ASD have problems with social, emotional and communicational skills. They might repeat certain behaviours and might not change their daily routines. Many people with ASD have different ways of learning, paying attention or reacting to certain situations. Signs of ASD begin during early childhood and last throughout a whole person's life. So what are the behaviours between ASD and ADHD? Well, I'm glad you've asked. Usually people with ADHD have difficulty focusing on one or more activity or task when engaged in their daily routine. They are easily distracted. People with ADHD are unable to sit still and have been known to become fixated or hyper-focused. So, what are the behaviours in an ASD individual? People with autism can be over-focused and unable to shift their attention to their next task. They are inflexible when it comes to routines and low tolerance for change or others. This can include eating the same foods and having sensitivities to sound, taste, touch, pain, having set preferences such as colours or textures. We can remember detailed facts for a long time. So, what are the medications or treatments? For some people with ADHD and autism, there is some medications available, which I'm not advocating. Let's put it out there right now. I'm not a medical professional. I am not advocating for medications, cures, therapies, but this is what the CDC website said. For some medications such as Ritalin, Concertina, for symptoms such as hyperactivity, inattention, which they respond well to. People with ASD and their symptoms can overlap with people who are ADHD. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked what I said. Please like, comment, share and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!